Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. I'm Adam and this is my ranking of the series 1 villains of the original series of Ben 10. Now, what counts as a villain? It's a character or robot that may have a higher authority but got into a fight with Ben in one episode or two, maybe three, and was depicted as the main villain of this, even though they may have a superior which doesn't come back for later in the series. So this is entirely my opinion. If your opinion is different, please tell me in the comments below who your favourite villain is from series 1. And without any further ado, let's get into this. So I got 14 villains here, one for each episode apart from the Hunted episode, which has 2. Now, in 14th place, we have Jonah Melville. He was the main villain in the Kraken episode. The reason he's in last place, because compared to the others, he just gets outclassed for his abilities, how interesting he is, and a bunch of other stuff. Because he's not interesting, he doesn't have any abilities outside his weapons and effectiveness when being a poacher, but that's it. He has nothing else interesting going on for him. That, and he just looks like in the final fight, he just looks like a punching bag for Ripjaws in the Kraken, which is something which I liked, because yes, have someone be a punching bag. 13th place, we have the Limax. Now, these were the aliens in permanent retirement, and they were seen once and never seen again. And I think it's best if it stays that way, because they had a bit of a weird plan, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of it. Anything interesting to say about them? Shapeshifting? That's good. The rest of it? Nah, keep them out. I don't want to see them again. 12th place is Zombozo. Now, if you saw the previous video, you would know that I hate this clown, and it stands by to it today, because Zombozo, he's not interesting. His one and only appearance in the original series is boring, especially for the episode as well. And even though he doesn't make many appearances in Alien Force, I would say his appearance in Alien Force is better than the original series. 11th place is Megawatt. Now, the Megawatt, basically it's just a walking laughter machine. Now this alien I actually like, because it may or may not have intended to injure or kill people. It just finds anything hilarious, which kind of goes along with my whole character, because I find lots of stuff hilarious as well. The reason why it's this slow is because at some points it can get annoying after a while. But other points, it's just a catastrophic mayhem which it causes, which is quite shocking to deal with. Moving on to 10th place. Now, this villain doesn't really have a name, more like just Drone from episode 1. But because I want to call it this, I'm going to be calling it the Big Ass Drone. Now, from what Lucas says in Protector of Earth on another platform that's not the DS, this is not a big ass drone. To me, because I haven't played the other platforms of Protector of Earth, this is the big ass drone. It's just there to be a punching bag, and more like literally a punching bag, maybe a training bag for Diamond Head. Just so Ben can learn how to use Diamond Head, and yeah, it's just that. Just so Ben can learn the powers of this watch, and use them to his advantage in future fights, which is good. But that's it. That's all it's used for. 9th place is Crab. Now, I put Crab here because he was kind of interesting to begin with, because he's shown to be this merciless crab-like robot, like being really powerful, really strong, but short circuit. Like, kind of easy to defeat when you're grey matter. Now, the only weapon it has is like this gunk which you can shoot out, which can solidify objects. A fist and a claw. It can also dig. But that's it. That's all it can do. Kind of boring if you ignore that. 8th place is Clancy. Now, I haven't seen Lucas's video on this just yet, because he hasn't uploaded it as I'm recording it. But, this villain, I can easily expect Lucas to not have high on his list, because I don't think he likes Clancy. I put Clancy at 8th place because even though his appearance in that one episode was kind of questionable, as it's kind of weird, I looked past that, and at the end of the day, we got a villain which literally specialises in bugs. And as Lucas says in so many of our calls together, I am obsessed with bugs. And I would say this to everyone watching this video, that I am, in fact, obsessed with bugs. Yeah. It's just has to do with the fact I like so many bug-like beasts on Beast Quest. Hence Cressa, Vespic, and all that jazz. But seriously, this villain has weird motives, but I need to be honest, I like Clancy. I do prefer the one in the final episode of the original series, but because I can't talk about the episode just yet, I'm stuck with this thing. 7th place. 7th place is Enoch. Now, Enoch, I prefer, as like all adventures, all outings with Enoch, I like him more than. I like Enoch a lot more than another villain, which will be later in this list. But the reason why Enoch is in 7th place for this series ranking is because he's been on the sideline throughout pretty much the entire episode. The only time he wasn't in the sideline was when he was hunting for Grey Matter, Gwen, and Max, and Hal. But then when self-destruct or implosion kind of thing happened with Grey Matter, he just left, and then we're just like, I want more information on these people. Okay, so we're probably going to see you again, and we do. Better outing next time we see him. I still won't say better than a future villain on this list, and Lucas knows who I'm talking about, because I said so many times I hate this villain. But anyway, 6th place is Rojo. Now, Rojo's one and only outing of the original series up until -10 episodes was a good one. I liked it. It just shows that it's kind of like that whole with great power comes great responsibility kind of thing. That was learned in Spider-Man. But Rojo learned she has this power and used it for her own benefit until Vilgax got into her head to tell her to get this, otherwise she would die. It's literally... I'm pretty sure Vilgax would have killed Rojo anyway. But yeah. It's like, okay, you now have powers, you know how to use them. Use them to my advantage, not yours. I was like, okay, yeah. And I would say this is one of the few villains which actually gave Ben a challenge when it came to thinking of a way to beat her. With Accelerate... what was the other one? Accelerate and Heat Blast. Those aliens couldn't beat Rojo. And I hate to say this because, come on, Accelerate could beat anything. I'm so biased towards Accelerate. But then, when Max suggests try taking her down from the inside, Upgrades and Grey Matter instantly become the number one choices. Upgrade especially because, well, merging with robotics is literally what Upgrade is used for. 5th place, we have Hex. Now, this villain I'm particularly not a big fan of. But I need to be honest when I say that his first outing was a good one. Because he was, unlike Enoch, he was in pretty much the entire episode, doing his own actions instead of relying on the whole army to do it for him. and to have access to so many spells and enchantments, it made him a formidable opponent. And to an extent, technically, not Ben's main opponent, more like Gwen's. Ben just beaten him. Fourth place, we have 6-6. Now I put 6-6 here for the simple reason, he's a walking death machine. He really is. We learn this later on in the series that he has far more weapons than we assume. But from what we saw here, he can fly, he's pretty damn fast, has guns and, what was it, swords maybe? I don't know, but he has a lot of weapons which he uses and makes him go like, okay, he must do bounty hunting for a living. He probably does, that's all we know. But unfortunately, 6-6, just counting this one episode, he technically killed himself and Crab. But that's it. Third place is Dr. Animo. Now, being a human villain up this high, it shows that, oh, this villain is good. And it is. Because Dr. Animo relies on his scientific mind to make his projects or stuff. I can't remember the actual word. Machines, maybe? To mutate animals to make them go under his control. And from what we saw in Washington, BC, he is shown to be formidable when it comes to reanimation of already dead cells, or when it comes to mutating alive cells like a frog, or bringing back with mammoths and all that. I'm personally a big fan of that. I am really a big fan of that, and honestly, I'm glad he comes back in future episodes, because Dr. Animo has always been one of my favourite villains, and to have him come back multiple times is what I look forward to in any of these episodes. Sorry. Unfortunately, the episode we're next seeing him in, I'm not a big fan of. Second place is... Now this one... Now, okay, the last two villains are Kevin and Vilgax. I should have said this before. I'm not counting the circus freaks because they were technically henchmen in the last laugh, which I was going to count them, but then Lucas said they're technically henchmen, so we're not going to count them. So Vilgax and Kevin are left, and either one's a good choice, but I'm going to go with Vilgax. Vilgax is second place. Now, Vilgax is second place for the simple reason he is shown to be formidable from the very beginning, having access to a lot of weapons. Whether it's why can't I speak? Whether it's drones, having the money to hire bounty hunters, more drones, even more drones, or his cybernetic body, which can allow him to enhance his strength and a bunch of other stuff as well. He is proven to be tough from the first episode that he fights Ben in, all the way to the very end, proving he's like a really powerful opponent. And probably the only opponent of, if all the villains went against each other, chances are he would be the one that comes out on top. If not, it would be Kevin. And speaking of which, let's go to Kevin. Kevin is my number one choice for the simple reason his powers are actually really overpowered when it comes to absorbing the Omnitrix's DNA and taking the aliens. Even though it gives him 1/10 of the power, this is coming into framed actually. Oops, let's go back to Kevin 11. He has shown that he has access to quite a lot of power, and realising that he's technically a more bad version of Ben, bad as in badass or bad as in bad, both of which show that, hey, this guy is actually pretty impressive for an 11-year-old boy, being a great villain and kind of a great foil to Ben. It kind of has the whole yin and yang thing with Ben being the good side and Kevin being the evil side. I know that's what I think that's what yin and yang actually means. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure what that means. I'll have to Google that later. But yeah, Kevin, my favourite villain from series 1. And another reason why I was struggling to put Kevin 11 as my favourite episode from series 1. But Secrets comes out on top there. But Kevin comes out on top as the best villain because I like the bit at the end where it just shows that he could come back, and he does. And I think for a long time, Kevin will be my favourite villain of Ben 10. Unfortunately, he turns into a good guy when it comes to Alien Force and Ultimate Alien. Probably Omniverse as well. But from the small clips I saw, he's a bad guy in a reboot. Yes! Anyway, that's all for this ranking. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press that notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.